Even if you come out of it on the other side and you didn't get what you wanted out of it, if you don't change your perspective and stop seeing yourself as the victim of something that happened to you, you're not going to be able to move past it because you're going to hold on to this anger. Welcome to the VetRise Podcast. I'm your host, Juan Perez. My goal is to make success after service accessible to every veteran in society. I believe in the power of leveraging your service, not as a label that defines you, but as a launching pad for your next chapter. What we have been doing has not been working, and it's on us to start changing the culture. Enjoy the episode, and thank you for your time. When we think of total ownership, we think of Jocko, right? Extreme ownership, saying that everything that happens under your command is your fault because you are in charge of it. But I want you guys to think of this as how you can apply it to your day-to-day life. This is going to challenge your perspective, your mindset, and I want you to come into this with an open mind, right? In life, when things happen, we always want to know why. Whether it's something that happens to us, whether it's something that we went into and maybe we got fired, maybe we lost a relationship, maybe a friend no longer wants to be a friend, maybe we didn't get that job we wanted, maybe we wanted to stay in the military and we got forced out. Whatever happens, we have to stop blaming others or seeing yourself as a victim. The reason that is because when you blame others, you're taking all the control away from yourself. Because if you are saying that it's someone else's fault and if you're seeing yourself as a victim, you're saying that you had very little control over something that was going to happen in your life. Now, again, there's a lot of situations out there, right? For example, we can think of, they didn't let me re-enlist in the Marine Corps, or I wanted to stay in, but they forced me out because of this. Even those situations, we can take ownership over it and we can stop seeing ourselves as a victim. Even if you come out of it on the other side and you didn't get what you wanted out of it, if you don't change your perspective and stop seeing yourself as the victim of something that happened to you, you're not going to be able to move past it because you're going to hold on to this anger. You're going to have this woe is me mentality. You're going to feel like you were wronged. And you're going to want to feel like someone is going to do something for you. And you're going to have this correction in your life, but it's never going to happen. No one will ever come to you and tell you, hey, what we did was wrong. And, here is this correction. And that's what we're going to get into today. But at the same time, it's not something that happens normally. Total ownership means taking full control of your life in every aspect of the word and making it your responsibility. So if you are at a job that you freaking despise and you've wanted something different, maybe it's a lack of skills that is holding you back. If you are in a relationship and you guys are always consistently fighting and you just are at a point where you feel like, well, this relationship is doomed, but you know what? This is what I'm used to. Maybe it's a lack of love, a lack of loyalty, a lack of empathy, a lack of different things that it is the reason why you are not happy because you're not giving your 110% in the relationship. So why would they? If you are in a place where you are not happy with the job that you have and you feel like you deserve more, you don't deserve more. Nobody deserves more. If you deserved it, you would have it. But that's the thing. You can earn it by staying late, by doing the work that nobody wants to do, by making friends, by rubbing elbows, by showing up to the events that people need to show up to. You see, in the military, we always think of the mindset that the workhorse gets promoted, but that's not even true. Not even in the military. Now, we all know that workhorse in the military or at work that always gets passed up for promotion, because why? Why would they promote someone that's doing the job that nobody else wants to do and they're doing it without complaining? Why would we want to get rid of this person? Because then who's going to do that job? So it's not just about being the workhorse. It's not just about doing more than everybody else. It's about understanding that if you want to get ahead in life, you need to think smart. You need to do the hard work, absolutely, 100,000% yes. But you also need to understand that you need to play smart. You need to dress sharp. You need to say the right things to the right people. You need to be approachable. You need to be charismatic. You need to make sure that people see you as someone that they can approach and someone that they can talk to and someone that should be promoted. So the mindset helps you rise above the crowd and live a life of purpose and responsibility. Because imagine the feeling that you would feel once you shift the perspective and you realize, if I'm unhappy with my body, I can do something about it. And you start doing something about it. And you start realizing that all I have to do is work out, be in a caloric deficit, do my steps, do my check-in, and I'm losing 2 pounds every 2 weeks. I'm losing 3 pounds every 3 weeks. There's so much ownership in that, there's so much power in that. Because you will never, ever have to go back to the old way of thinking, oh, well, I can't catch a break, or, my kids are too busy and that's why I can't do anything for myself, or, you know what, right now is not the right time in life to do this. You will never go back to that because you've shifted your mindset. Imagine the purpose that you will feel when you realize like you're at work and for the longest people have ignored you, but it's actually not that. It's that you don't rub elbows with the right people. You don't shake the right hands. You don't make the right conversations. And then you decide, you know what, I'm going to be different this week. I'm going to go and start to make some new connections. I'm going to make sure that when the boss goes out to drinks with everybody, I actually show up and I participate and I laugh and I'm charismatic and I actually try and give my 110% and be present. Because you can always go to the bar after work with everybody else, right? And you can be like, well, I had a drink and, the boss still doesn't like me. He didn't even talk to me. That's the wrong mindset. You gave a little bit, but you didn't give enough. You need to be willing to go the extra mile because total ownership means understanding that your life, your entire being is your responsibility in every area of your life, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your employment, whether it's your financial status, whether it's your business. You have to have ownership over all of it. Now, why? Why do we have to take total ownership? Why is it so important? Why do I keep harping on this? Well, because like I said, when you blame others and you keep doing it, it continues to keep you in the stuck mindset of being powerless and stuck. And nobody likes a victim. Nobody wants to hang out with a victim. No one roots for the victim in the story. Nobody wants to see the victim do better. Everybody lies to you when they tell you, oh, I love hearing a comeback story. Because the thing is, people watch those stories and they think about, well, at least I'm better than that person. Because if this person is being so hard on themselves and they're this down, at least I'm in a better place. And we're all selfish by nature when you think about it. But if you stop thinking that way and you start taking ownership over what your life can look like, owning your past mistakes puts you in complete control of letting you fix the things. So let's talk about past mistakes, right? I've been in situations in my life where I order something from a company and it shows up to my door and something's wrong with it. Maybe it's the wrong color. Maybe the item that was delivered was bent and it's cracked or something is wrong with it. Or another example could be I order a lawn delivery service and they show up and they do a terrible job. I have the option to say something about it, right? And I do. Now, the other person on the other side of that has options as well. Do they take total ownership over their business, over their empire, over what they produce in their line of work? Or do they skirt away from it? Because people that are angry with the result of something, they can do two things. They can either complain about it and leave you a negative review, or they can feel so seen, felt, addressed that they're actually going to direct all of their friends to you. So if this other person, let's say it's a lawn service business, right? They take complete ownership over what happened as a business. And they say, you know what, you're right. We messed up. This is on us. This is what we're going to do. We're going to fix it. Because you can't just fix a mistake by refunding. You can't just fix a mistake by saying sorry. You can't just fix a mistake by saying, oh, that was my bad. I'm going to do better next time. It doesn't work that way. You need to go above and beyond. So if this lawn delivery service says, you know what, we messed up, we're going to go ahead and refund your money. But you know what, for the next 2 services, I'm going to send you my best person. They're going to do the job 10 times better. And I'm going to make sure that, we do the extra service and we're going to fertilize your lawn or whatever. Every person that I know that is looking for someone to get their lawn service, I'm going to direct to this business. Contrary to the other organization, the other business that they tell you, well, we sent you a messed up piece, but if you want the correct piece, you're going to have to pay for shipping. Now I've lost not only time, but I've lost my efforts. I've lost my energy. I just spent more time talking to this person when I could have been using that piece of equipment that I purchased. So now I'm never going to talk good about this person. And I'm actually going to make sure that people that are looking for something in that area of the world don't go to that business. We have to take that ownership and apply it to ourselves. So in the past, when we've made mistakes, when you have transgressed someone, we always think of not saying it's my fault. We always think of not saying that it's your responsibility because, of course, we know what happens in the military. We get NJP, we get in trouble, or we know what happens as children. You end up in detention. But we have to shift that mindset. You have to understand that when you take ownership over something, when you take ownership over a mistake of yours, you can make the decision of if you're going to make the situation right or if you're going to just make it okay. Because making it okay is just saying sorry, the bare minimum. Disney had a study that it takes 37 different iterations of correcting something before someone feels happy with Disney after a mistake was made. So let's say someone shows up to Disney and they stand in line for forever, and when they go to pay for the tickets or whatever, there's an issue, and for some reason the reservation wasn't right, and now they missed half a day at Disney. Disney did a study that it takes 37 positive things to make that group of people feel not only happy, but extremely happy with their stay at Disney. You guys should all be like Disney, where you feel like if you understand that if you want more out of life, if you want to grow your business, if you want to grow your personal brand as who you are and make the right connections, meet the right professors, talk to the right deans, get on the right type of employment plan, get on the right type of growth for your life. Because remember, this is not just about your fitness. This is about complete and utter growth in every area of your life. You need to be like Disney, meaning that you need to treat your life as if every iteration that you have with someone, every single situation that you have with someone, you get to decide if there's a mistake that's made on your end or in your business. Let's say you do have a business. It still comes down to you. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't, you're going to look like the person that doesn't take complete ownership over their business or their brand or themselves. So if you were late for an assignment and you mess it up, and let's just say you turn it into the professor and they're like, well, it was late, and they lower your grade, what are you going to do? Because it is your fault. You can't just say, oh, I didn't get the email, or I didn't know it was due at this time, or anything like that, because none of that matters. None of it matters. You need to not only apologize, but you got to make sure that the next paper you turn in, the next couple of assignments, whatever, are so much better that they bring up your grade. Because that professor doesn't lose anything. You do. Right? And this applies in every area of your life, with friendships, with relationships. Now, I'm not talking about the people that don't deserve to be in your life. That's a different, completely opposite story of this. I'm talking about the people that you know are positive for you, have influence over your life, are people that actually want to do right by you. Maybe you can think of someone right now in your life that has looked out for you so much that you want to make things right for them, right with them, right with them. And even if it's in the past, you can always fix relationships. Not only by saying sorry, but by going so far that you make the situation so right that this person feels like this person, you, really, really, really appreciates them. They feel seen. They feel heard. They feel appreciated. In a relationship, a man and a woman, one guy comes home late and he is an asshole to his wife, and she gets so angry that, she doesn't want to make him dinner. Him saying sorry is not going to make the situation even. He needs to understand that she's going to feel transgressed. He needs to not only make sorry, but maybe take her out to dinner. Maybe make sure that he's on time and early the next couple of days. Maybe he appreciates her so much because he will actually get in her good graces, and she will want to be there for him a lot more. And that applies in everything, with friendships, with your business endeavors, with your kids. And by the way, when you do these things, your kids are going to see this. Explain it to them. Share with them. Tell them why it's important to make sure that you are responsible, not just for what you're doing, but for the things that people might perceive of you. Because perception is reality. And everybody can tell you, like, oh, I don't care what people think about me. We're human beings. We do care. Now, do not get it twisted. I'm not telling you that you need to go out into the world and care about everybody's opinion about you. No, that's what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But let's just say that you are in running to launch a business, right? And you put in for this grant, and there's 5 other people in there, right? And the people that make the decisions at the end of it, they're going to be the ones that choose who gets the grant money. And there's a meet and greet, and you show up, and you're not charismatic, and you're not dressed the best. And you know what? You showed up a little bit late, and you didn't even shave. And you think that you being your true, genuine self, and you know what? I don't care what people think. This is me. Like, you are hurting yourself actively, because guess what? Somebody else in that group showed up on time. As a matter of fact, they showed up early. They shaved. They're wearing a nice suit. They're making sure that they're meeting people and greeting the people with the right way of, hey, your name, and saying the name back and repeating it. They're being charismatic. And you can think, oh, well, that person's a kiss ass. Yeah, that person that's a kiss ass is going to get the grant money over you. And guess what? They are able to launch their business over you, or launch their book or their podcast or whatever it is that they're putting in for. This applies in every area of life. It's not about not caring about no one. It's about understanding that there are people that have influence over your life, and you need to make sure that you take total ownership over your life, and you make sure that they see you the right way, in the best light possible. All right, let's stop for a minute. This is the part of the episode where I ask you to do me a favor. But it's not a favor for me. It's a favor for your fellow brothers and sisters that served with you. If you know someone that has been struggling, if you know someone that has been going through it right now, and you know that they want better for their life, they just don't know how to do it, please share this episode with them. It might just be exactly what they need. That's it. That's my only ask. If you want to subscribe, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Back to the episode. And again, this applies to past mistakes, correcting them, and also future possibilities, making sure that you don't put yourself in the negative spotlight. Don't be a victim. Taking ownership is not about letting others walk over you. Absolutely not. You have to be the one to address issues head on instead of waiting for others to take action. When there's a mistake, and let's say you show up to late to work 4 times in a row, 3 times in a row, 2 times in a row, even 1 time. If you take control, you're not at the mercy of others' moods and actions. You can't let people talk about you because, you know what, yeah, I was late, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure I'm not only early, but on time or early for the next week or so. And I'm going to make sure I put a little more effort into my work to make sure that people see that, like, I understand, like, I was wrong, I was late, I made other people's lives a little bit harder because maybe they had to work a little bit more. Go out of your way to make sure that you make their lives better as well. Because if you tell yourself, oh, I was late because, of this and it wasn't my fault, like, not only do people not see you as you taking ownership over it, but now you're downplaying the fact that they had to do more because you were late. Maybe you're on an assembly line. Maybe you're a part of a team. And the fact that you don't even take ownership over the fact that you were late because of something that happened, it doesn't even matter what it was. You made their life harder and you don't recognize that. That is a mistake. And again, it's not about having people walk over you. It's about you address the issues head on instead of waiting for other people to take action or say something about it. Now, I want to talk about the Andrew boat. This is something I heard a while back from Alex Hermosi. So only one person can be in the Andrew boat. So let's just say that you are a business owner and you have a customer who's very upset. Or let's just say you are a friend and you have a friend who's very upset about something. Maybe you told them you would help them move and you showed up late or you missed by maybe 2-3 hours. In the business example, only one person can be in the angry boat, meaning that only one person can be the one that gets angry because that person, the other person that was transgressed, they want to feel seen. They want to feel justified. They want to feel heard. They have emotions. They're angry. But if you're the first person that gets angry and takes total ownership for the mistake and gets emotional for them, they can be the one that tells you it's okay. You know what? You're right. It's not that big of a deal. Let's relax. It's going to be all right. Because you just say, like, I can't believe this happened. Like, this should have never happened. This is a mistake. I'm very sorry. And again, it's not just apologies. What are you going to do to change it, to make sure it never happens again? You know what? Next time I'm going to make sure that, not only do I set my alarms, but you know what? I want to make sure that I'm going to show up tomorrow to help you move the rest of your stuff because I know that today I showed up late and that wasn't my intention. But again, I want to tell you that I'm going to pay for the pizzas for all the moving people, or I'm going to make sure that you get your refund. But not only that, I'm going to make sure that I'm here overseeing my crew so this mistake doesn't happen again. And you know what? I want to actually give you a deal and do the deck for you when I told you it would only cost you this much. And this person now has no area, no space, no real estate to feel angry. They have nothing to be angry about. You've made the situation right. You went above and beyond. You made it better. And now you've taken total ownership over the mistake. You have to make their pain seem more significant to you than it is to them. And that's the way that you diffuse their anger. And now you can steer the situation in a better way. You can make the situation better. And this applies everywhere in life. It's not just if you're a business owner or if you're helping a friend move. If you can think of a situation right now in your life where maybe you made a mistake or maybe something is happening this weekend and things are going to get crazy because it's going to be a hectic weekend, get ahead of it and take ownership over anything that happens because that means you can make the situation better and you can make the changes necessary. So an extreme example would be that let's just say, can't think of an example. Let's just say that you cheated on a test and now the dean and everybody wants to expel you from school. What can you do to take total ownership over that, right? What can you do to take total ownership over the fact that you're being accused of cheating? Because lying about it and saying I didn't cheat isn't going to help you. They're not going to be like, oh, you didn't cheat? Oh, okay. No. Not only can you take ownership over the fact that you did something wrong, but you can go above and beyond. You can make sure that every single thing in your life reflects who you are. You can make sure that you are possibly volunteering as much as you can, making sure that you're apologizing the right way, explaining what you're going to do to make sure this never happens, trying to circumvent the situation by explaining why this happened, and also showing that you have remorse, showing that you're going to be better, showing that you're going to stay late and help the teacher grade papers or do something else, and becoming as involved as you can in the school, because that's what they want to see. They don't want to expel you. That's not the end result that they want. They want to create a student that becomes a professional in the world and can actually demonstrate the proper values that they hold as a school. So why not do that right now, there, and then? And if you do all these things, they're going to see that you feel remorse, you're going to do better, you're changing your ways, you've apologized, you've made amends, and now you're doing all these different little things to make sure that you do emulate their core values out in the world once you do graduate, because they don't want to get rid of you at that point. You've made the proper kind of change in your life, because that's what school is about, right? Learning, and you've learned. And again, the situation might turn out differently. Maybe they still expel you. Guess what you do? You still take total ownership over it. You make sure you apply to other schools. In between time, you get a job to make sure you pay your bills, and you never, ever, ever even think about cheating again. As a matter of fact, you work harder to make sure all your grades get better and better and better, because now you're taking time, you're putting in your schedule, you're studying, you're reading other papers. Like, you are making sure that you never get into a situation where you feel like you have to cheat. That's still taking total ownership, no matter which way the situation turns. Now, how can you apply the angry boat in the workplace? If you're a business owner, and again, the entrepreneurial life is for a lot of us, right? Myself included. And again, you are still your business owner of your life. Not everything is going to be your fault. There's going to be things that happen. Shipping is going to be delayed. One of your employees is going to make a mistake. Somebody is going to screw up. They're going to forget to send that email. It's still your fault, because you are the face of the company. You are the owner. You are the person that people are going to think about when they say, oh, so-and-so messed up. Eric Kuhn's Industries. It's not the laborer that he hired, it's Eric. So it still comes down to you. And even if you have shitty coworkers and customers, it's not going to be directed towards them or other people. It's going to be directed towards you. Because the customers may be shitty, but at the end of the day, they're going to leave you a review, or they're going to go ahead and feel so seen, so felt, because you went out of your way to not only apologize, but you made the situation better for them. They feel like they were truly seen. They feel like they came out of the other side of it in better hands, because you got angry about it. You felt like this shouldn't have happened. This was a mistake. I can't believe this happened. And again, only one person gets to be in the angry boat. And when you take control of their anger and you validate it, you make your work life more peaceful and more manageable, because it will happen less and less and less. Now, again, what do you do to make sure that you fix the situation and take total ownership over it? Not only do you apologize, but you made sure that you possibly maybe give them a refund, or maybe you offer more services, or maybe you made sure that they don't have to worry about any issues. Maybe it was a house remodel and they were going to have to rent the hotel. Maybe you offer them to stay at your Airbnb that you have. Whatever it is that you can do, you need to go above and beyond, so they feel so seen, so heard, that anytime they have any home remodel issues or friends that need services, they're going to go to you. They're going to leave you a glowing review. The opposite of that would be that you just say, sorry, you know what, we'll be better about it. And then they still feel like they were slighted. They still feel like they weren't seen. They're going to leave you a negative review, because that's what people can do. That's what their judgment is. That's all they can do. That's all the recourse they have. Now, of course, you can become their project, and they can really attack you on social media and everywhere else. I never want that to be something that happens to me. And how do you avoid that? Again, taking total ownership over the situation and correcting it. And how do you correct it on the inside? Well, you train your team. You don't come down on them. It's still on you. You didn't train them properly. What was it that you didn't communicate them to properly that made them create this mistake in this situation? Was it your SOPs? Was it the way you delivered it? Did you not do it at a timely manner? It still comes back down to you. And total ownership is fixing what you can and then working as hard as hell to get out of a bad environment, the bad situation. Because right now, if you are not happy with your life and you want a better job, the mistakes of your past, the reason why you're not where you want to be, or the changes that you need to make to change your current situation still comes down to you. Maybe for the longest, you have just been getting by at work. Maybe you have just been being there, just being present. you can still correct that by actually becoming much more active with your boss. Or maybe if you want to jump ship and go somewhere else, you can still correct all the negligence that you've had towards what you want by doubling down on it. Because it's a mistake if in the past, if a year ago you said, I'm going to start making videos, or if a year ago you said, I'm going to start my own business, or I'm going to start my book, or I'm going to start my podcast, and you haven't been doing it, that is a mistake. Because you have lost faith with yourself. You've lost integrity. Because you keep thinking about it and you're like, I haven't done that. And what do? You come up with a reason of why you haven't done it. Now, we all know that that's not true. Because if you wanted to, you would make time for it. If it's important to us, we made time for it. So how do we fix that mistake? Because it is a mistake. We have to double down on it. We have to make sure that we actively move towards our goal with everything that we have. We create time in our calendar and then we double that. Because if you want to not only catch up to where you want it to be, but freaking surpass it, you need to be a freaking jet, not a hot air balloon. You can't move slow. And that applies in everything, not just in a project that you wanted to start. Maybe it applies in your relationship. Maybe your relationship is not where you want it to be. Guess what? You need to catch up by fixing your mistakes, taking total ownership, and it will encourage the other person to do the same, I promise you. Only one person can be in the danger boat. Take ownership. Try it out. I promise you. Always, always, always take the higher road. Being petty gets you nothing. You're going to get this very, very short, quick, and useless dopamine hit. You're going to feel like, oh, well, at least, I did this and they feel stupid, whatever. It doesn't matter. The road to success is going to take a long time. But the thing is, you will get there faster if you double down on ownership over your life, fix your past mistakes, start doing the work that applies, and not letting anyone be the reason why you are not where you want to be. It's always up to you in every situation that you're in. So if you've been missing workouts, it's not because you're busy. That's complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. Because today I woke up early because I knew I had to get to my gym, because it took me freaking 45 minutes to get to my gym, and then it took me an hour and 10 minutes to get to work. And as I kept going and I kept being in traffic, I didn't get down on myself. I didn't say, oh, this is traffic's fault and I hate the city. I chose to be here. This is on me. Total ownership. I don't live in the country. I chose to be here because of the opportunities that it gives me. And if that changes, that's fine. And if I'm unhappy where I'm at, I take total ownership over that. I double down on my business, and then I retire from the job that I don't like anymore. You see, guys, total ownership is not just about like, I'm unhappy where I'm at, so I'm going to try to be a little bit better about what I'm doing. No, screw that. Like, you need to be 10 times better at what you're doing if you want to make a change. So in the past year, if you gain 30 pounds and you want to lose the 30 pounds, it's not just, oh, well, if I lose 15 pounds, I'll be happy. Like, no, you should want to lose the 30 pounds, because if you gained it, that means you can lose it. Your body has been there before. And even if it hasn't, guess what? You do so much work, you double down, you own the fact that you're the reason why there is sweets in your pantry. You own the fact that you are the one that stays up till 2 a.m. when you shouldn't. You own the fact that you have yet to put your workouts on your calendar. Not only do you do your workouts, but you freaking go above and beyond and you do an extra workout. Not only do you track your macros, but you track them so well that this week you lost 3 pounds because you took total ownership and you doubled down on the work, because it was a mistake. Anything that is not where you want it to be in your life right now is because of a mistake you've made. And when we own it, when we get angry about it before we let anybody else get angry about it, we own it. And again, always, always, always understand that taking the high road is the best way to do it. So if there's other people involved in any situation that you're in, whether it's at work, at school, in your relationship, you will never feel better for going low. Total ownership in relationships. Show up for your spouse, children, and loved ones with everything that you have. And it's not that it should make you feel empty, but doing so is going to come back tenfold for you, because they're going to show up for you. They're going to make sure that when they see you showing up for them, even when you don't want to, even when you can't, even when you're tired, even when you're in a mood because work wasn't what you wanted it to be, yet you're still there giving them the very best that you have, they're going to reciprocate that for you because they see you showing up. Trust me, they see you showing up, because other people, other couples, they're not doing that. In your relationship with your parents or your kids, they still see you showing up, and give them everything that you have. Fix your past mistakes, because if your son or your daughter is used to you saying that you're so tired that you never want to play football, so they've stopped fucking asking you, fix it by saying, hey, let's go play football. Don't expect them to fix it. So in the past, if you have always been the type of person that you never want to go on date night, and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to fix it by, okay, I'm willing to go on date nights. That's not fixing it. You better get yourself dressed up. You better make the reservation. You better say, sweetheart, we're going to date night. Make the plans, show up on time, have a great attitude, and fix the past mistake of the way that you treated her or the way that you even treated yourself. In the past, if you always go to your family's house and you always allow them to feed you what they want because you have not set good boundaries and you think you're going to hurt their feelings, fix it by speaking up the right way. Hey, mom, you know what? I would love it if we can make some of this food. It's an awesome recipe, and I actually want to take ownership over it, and I want to help you make it. What do you think? Can we try this new recipe? Just now you're involved. That's what our parents want. Every situation you find yourself in, I promise you, you have the power to make a change in it. Fix mistakes and do not be afraid to address problems. Always, always, always validate people's feelings, especially if it's people you care about. Even if you feel like you don't care about them, they might be someone that has influence over your position and work, right? I promise you, cutting someone down or talking down to someone or just belittling someone will never get you ahead in life. If you can do it for a difficult customer at work, if you can do it for a student that you have to deal with at your school, if you can do it for somebody else, why would you not do it for your loved ones? So always, always, always fix your mistakes in your relationships as well. Because we think about, okay, well, what can I do better now? But we don't think back. What have I caused? What type of issues, what type of trauma have I given my children or my partner or even myself? Because right now, if you are always used to feeling sorry for yourself every weekend and you indulge in ice cream every weekend, you're not going to fix that mistake by saying, oh, I'm going to stop this weekend. No, you need to correct it so much that you don't go back to that. You need to wake up and do a workout so you feel energized. You need to decide tonight we're going to have steak, and you make your steak dinner. It's not just about staying in the negatives. In the negatives, you still lose. You got to go into the positives. Action over useless emotion. Do not dwell on guilt or anger. It is the most useless emotion that we can feel because nobody is going to congratulate you for feeling sorry for yourself or being angry about it. Nobody. And it is a very, very useless emotion because nothing changes from that. Now, ownership. The fact that you understand that there is power in guilt. Guilt is your guide. You can change something from it, but don't dwell in that feeling. Nobody cares about how bad you feel about a mistake you made. Nobody. Do something about it. Do something about it. If you crashed the family car, guess what? Pay for the repairs. Take the bus for the next 3 months so you don't use the family car, so you show that you're devoted to making sure that that doesn't happen again. Maybe go to driving school if you have an issue with that. Make sure that you pay for the insurance. Everything fits the problem correctly. People only care about two things, when you make it right and when you keep it from happening again. So what can you do to make sure that that doesn't happen again? Focus on solutions, not regrets. Don't dwell on anger. So how can we apply total ownership in our lives? And I want you guys to identify an area in your life right now, today, where you are struggling to take total ownership, where you keep blaming somebody else, or you keep blaming an institution, or you keep blaming a different person, or keep blaming the situation. It could be a relationship. It could be a situation at work. It could be anything that causes frequent anger or conflict, anything that gives you that frustration, anything that makes you feel like, well, it's not my fault. Write it down. Where in that area of your life, in that moment, in that situation, whatever it is, can you use total ownership to steer the relationship, the situation, whatever is happening in a healthier direction? Remember, it's not just about like, oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna make sure I show up on time. No, it's like you need to show up early. You need to do more work. You need to be seen by your boss, and your boss needs to be like, damn, so-and-so has really taken like this complete 180. How can you change the dynamic of what's been happening? Write down how you want to grow in this relationship on a Post-it note if you need to, and then place it on your mirror. And the reason we do the whole mirror thing, everything has a reason, by the way, is because I want you guys to remember what you are actively working on. If you write in your journal and you put it away, that's not going to be a reminder that you see every day. Put it in your journal, absolutely. But use Post-it notes. Put them on your mirror. I want you guys to look at what you're working towards. Out of sight, out of mind, which means insight in mind. Remember that in these tough moments, you might fall to your lowest behaviors. And we need to fight this. We need to combat this with reminding yourself of why this is important to you. What do you want from life? What are you devoted to changing? Because if you're unhappy with where you're at in life, it is your fault. And if it's your fault, that means you have control over it. Nobody else can change it for you. Nobody's going to make your life worse or better besides you. And there's power in that. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the VetRise Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, made you think, or simply gave you hope, I have a small favor to ask. Share it with just one veteran or someone you think could benefit from my message. Your share could light a spark for them. You don't know who you might save. For more insights and to join our mission, follow my socials at JP the Veteran Coach and explore how we can rise together. Thank you for joining us, for being part of this journey, and for believing in the power of rising together. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep rising, and never forget that we are stronger together. My name is Juan Perez, and thank you for your time.